Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
I want a mock.
Yeah. Even though it is
I want to
mock draft season. This is not mock draft Monday here. This is mock schedule Monday because Judd, I think the first email or text we got from Judd.
Can't see it, but it's right there.
Mocking the schedule. Is that it on your phone right there?
Vikings 2025 mock schedule 1.0, because there will be more.
I think it was like maybe the second week of free agency that Judd was like, I've got the mock schedule, iterating, drafting, ready to rock and roll here.
Sat down last week because it's a procedure. Like you got to fit things in. You can't have too many. You can't have too long a homestand, too long of road trip. You got to account for prime time games, all that. So like it's surgical, and that's for one team, by the way.
Yeah. Well, and you did all the teams, which makes it even more complicated, right?
I did them all correctly.
In fact, day
too.
by day, we're going
I've
to
got them
all
the bye weeks all baked in and all that. Yeah, it's fantastic.
So, and the other part of the exercise, maybe the most important part, is we will pick the Vikings schedule, wins and losses, for the first time since the free agent additions, where the Vikings spent $250 million on mostly trenches players to help them get better. So we'll do that. We will present the hot Vikings take of the week, potentially. But first, Quick Trip. Let's rock and roll to start this week on Purple Daily.
Let's stop right there, because Quick Trip, when you stop there, you are getting quality, and you are, most importantly, you are getting efficiency. That's right. So if you're on, driving to work today and you say, I forgot lunch, guess what? It's fine, because Quick Trip is where you can stop in and get your lunch, get a snack, whatever you desire. The food is there. And the nice thing is, it's like a grocery store, only it's not a grocery store. It's much quicker. Okay, and now you're saying, but Sports Dad, I don't even have time to go in. My life is so hectic. And I'm going to tell you that's fine too. Put the app on your phone. They will bring the food out. In fact, you know what? Pump your gasoline at Quick Trip, and they will bring your groceries out. It is that simple. It is all at Quick Trip. No question about it. A first-round pick, Quick Trip.
Wow, look at that. Wow, What a tag on that one. And speaking of drafts, just another reminder that the 2025 Purple Daily Draft Party presented by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is happening in 2.5 weeks at the Fillmore in Minneapolis. Year 2 at the Fillmore, Thursday, April 24th at 7 p.m. You can get your tickets at scorenorth.com/draft. There will be a pre-party extravaganza at Brixworth beforehand, and we'll have more details on that. So you can come hang out. We'll be there at Brixworth. And then for the VIP ticket holders, we will do a meet and greet and a hang session inside the Fillmore before the draft party starts. It'll be a combination of the draft and what's happening that night, but also a celebration of what the Vikings did in free agency, your favorite football team. So, shout out again to our friends Standard Heating and Air Conditioning helping to put this thing on. Continental Diamond, 2 Men in a Junk Truck, easy for me to say, Roku.
That's a hard one.
It is a little bit tricky.
That's a hard one, yeah.
It's a tongue twister.
It is.
Park Dental and Element Hotel and others. So thank you for that. All right, Judd. Well, let's get this party started.
You guys ready? All right.
Judd has. So we already know who the opponents are going to be, home and road. What we don't know is the order of the schedule, the primetime games. Are they going to play in Europe or somewhere? There was a little speculation about that on last week's podcast. So
yeah. This is definitely the sexy part, right? Like. The opponents, it's like, okay, but like, are they going to be late season opponents? Are they going to, right? So like,
you don't know?
This changes everything. So I'm about to give you mock 1.0 Vikings.
Let's go.
It's going to start off exciting because week 1, September 8th. September 8th is a Monday night, gentlemen.
Oh, wow.
The Vikings playing host to the Ravens at 7:15 in a Monday night game on ESPN.
Wow.
Possibly just ABC as well. Hot. Don't know about that one. But Lamar Jackson, JJ McCarthy era starting. The Vikings' home schedule is 2 things. And we talked about this last week. Quarterback-wise, it's a gauntlet. Like, it's a lot of tough QBs, but it's also really attractive. Like, if you're a fan, it is an attractive schedule. Baltimore v. Minnesota, September 8th, Monday night, week 1.
And keep track of your own wins and losses here. But I'll bat lead off on these. Baltimore Ravens, notoriously slow starting team. I don't know. At least they were last year, right? Home game for the Vikings, all fired up. You got some dudes in the trenches now that you didn't have before. Give me a win to start the season for the Vikings in week 1.
Okay.
I'll also take a win. I have a hot take when we finish this mock schedule from Judd regarding JJ McCarthy and just their opponents. So a little tease for that. But Vikings win this game. Primetime. Are we getting the? Is there 2 Monday night games in week 1?
No, they stopped that. There was.
Did they stop that? I thought
think they
no.
stopped
Oh, they
that.
do it like this. But they do it early. There's like week 2 or week 3 they had for sure a couple.
Yeah,
Monday night
but they're
games.
not. But because they used to do an early, like a 6:15 start Central Time, right? And then like a 9 o'clock, because the Vikings opened against the Niners and lost like 5 years ago in the late game, which sucks because it's really late.
Trent Dilfer was hopped up for that game.
I think they stopped that. But so I agree with you guys. Week 1 excitement. US Bank Stadium buzzing. JJ McCarthy, first game. But you also, don't forget, Jordan Mason, Aaron Jones, far better offensive line. So you got a run game now. That's a win.
Derrick
All right.
Henry, another year older, coming up in the age cliff. Okay, all right.
Okay. Not as sexy in week 2, September 14th at Seattle, 3:05. So
Interesting. I feel like the Seattle games are always on December 3rd or
They
something.
They are, which is why I looked long and hard at exactly that, and I'm like, you're right. Like every year, November, December. So this time, I'm going to send them out west, but I'm going to do it in week 2 with our time, not Seattle time, a late afternoon start.
And this is a tough one for Darnold here if this happens because the Vikings know his weak spots. The Vikings created the Frankenstein that is Sam Darnold. They made him a 9-figure net worth made man.
Yep.
Not all guaranteed. He's got to earn the full 9 figures. So they will also know which pressure points to hit on. And it's week 2. He's not going to be fully used to the Seattle teammate system, everything. So give me a win. Hot start for the Vikings.
I'm just thankful, and I hope they take Judd's advice that we don't have a Week 16 crazy weather Seattle game. Just give us some nice weather in Seattle, right? September's still beautiful in I take it in the Pacific Northwest.
Very much.
So
Yeah.
I'll take
Bill
the
can tell
W
us.
too. Eating those W's.
Yeah. I agree. So if you get by Baltimore, if you win that game, it's favorable for the first 3 weeks then, because at Seattle, September 14th is followed up by Sunday, September 21st. I'm sending the Vikings to Cleveland to play the Browns in a noon start, 1 p.m. Eastern, of course. So at the Browns, week 3.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're going to have to find some losses on the schedule because, they're probably not going to run the table.
Kirk, by the way.
You think that's, it's more likely than, if they want to just tank and fire a coach, start Kenny Pickett, I guess. But it's hard to find an L at Cleveland the way that franchise is going. So the hot start continues for me.
Actually,
Easy W. Yep.
Okay.
W for me
Okay.
too. 3-0.
All right, I'm going W there. Now, week 4 gets tougher. Week 4, September 28th, final game of the first month of the season, versus the Lions, 3:25 p.m. start at US Bank Stadium.
So we're doing, this is like the Fox game of the week kind of a situation
Fox,
here.
Yeah. It's too good a game.
Tom Brady coming to Minneapolis here.
Too good
most
for a
likely.
noon start, right?
Yeah. This is, the Lions have not met their demise yet, and this is tough because they don't have coordinators. I'm going to say win. I'm going to say win for the Vikings. The Lions climbing back up that mountain again after heartbreaking playoff losses the last 2 years, losing 2 coordinators. Are they going to have that juice early in the season? Or are they going to be a little flat and have to find it? I feel like Vikings over Lions week 4.
I'm also going to take a win here. I think the Lions are going to come down to earth just a bit. The Vikings have lost 3 straight to Detroit dating back to 2023. So I think KOC has some tricks up his sleeves. And with Detroit losing their coordinators too, it's a 4-0 start for your Minnesota Vikings.
Wow. Sorry. I'm going loss here. I'm going loss. I don't see them winning all the first 4 games. The Baltimore game, it feels like they that being a primetime game at home would be a great shot for just like a burst, and so they get out of the gate. So I'm going to give them a loss in this one.
Yeah,
Tough game. But
if you were to do the schedule unveil in like 4-game chunks or something, I would probably look at the 4-game chunk and say 3-1. But as we lay it out game by game by game,
the excitement
just
builds.
following my heart here. So
the excitement builds.
Yeah,
it's why the mocks are so great, because we get the excitement before the real excitement in May, which is fabulous as well.
yeah.
All right, second chunk of 4 games. Week 5, October 5th, a very ordinary, mundane, just run-of-your-mill, probably Fox game. Second consecutive year at the New York Giants, noon kickoff.
Yeah, it's a win. It's a win.
This is
The way you're laying out, this is the beauty of the laying out the schedule. The order of the opponents matters, because if there's some teams that just get, like the Bengals, you just get derailed. Now they lost to the Patriots, I think, in week 1 last year.
Yep.
But the way this sets up, you got a couple gimmies in here. It's a win.
I mean, yeah, this is I would say probably as ideal you could have a schedule start. Even if Detroit's here early, going to Seattle early is good. Baltimore's good, but if you get them at home to start, I mean, this is about as favorable, I think, as it can be almost for the Vikings. But it's a win, obviously, in New York.
I agree.
You're either intercepting Jameis Winston 4 times in this game, or you're sacking Russell Wilson 5 times.
Yeah. God, that'd be glorious. Both would be glorious. I think I like the first one. I think I'll take door 1, though, the Jameis Winston.
Or Shador, or you're sacking Shador Sanders 7 times in this game.
And I do think that the first at least 8 games too, there is at least a little bit of predictability there too, because like I don't expect the Browns, like I expect the Browns to be bad, but let's say that the Browns are good. That identity won't probably come until like November, right?
Of 2028, yeah.
Of 2000. Well, okay. Let's say the Seahawks are good. I could still see beating them in week 2, and then in November,
yeah,
they're hot by then. All right.
Yeah.
But I agree. That's a win. All right. We get back into the attractive portion of the schedule in week 6, October 12th versus the Packers here, 7:20 p.m. Sunday night.
Oh, let's go. Yeah.
Coming up.
Yeah. We're
Been waiting all day for this game.
Sunday night. Did you guys see the woman who did the Sunday Night Football theme song in the American Idol auditions in front of Carrie Underwood was like pleasantly surprised for the first 10 seconds. But then after this woman killed that rendition, you could tell there was a little, okay, back off this.
Yep.
This is my territory here.
Yep.
It's my song.
She absolutely slayed it.
I'm going to say sneaky loss here for the Vikings. I think the Packers are kind of fed up with these games against the Vikings and getting clowned by Kevin O'Connell. So I'm going to say a sneaky little loss here. I guess it'd be my first loss on the schedule home against the Packers.
Oh, boy, this is the toughest one yet.
Thank you.
I love that it's Sunday Night Football.
Oh,
You know what? Put a pin in this, but like during the season last year, I ranked all of Carrie Underwood's Sunday Night Football intro anthems throughout the years. That might be an NFL take of the best Sunday Night Football intro out. When it gets a little slow in June or July, I might have a take on all.
Like the game specific ones, or
No,
the season
yeah.
by
You know
season?
how like because every year the intro's a little different. Is what she does, like the montage and things. There's some that are better than the others, and I have a ranking on that. I'm gonna rank those. That's gonna be a fun NFL take.
That's like a July 10th episode of Purple Daily NFL Takes.
Can't wait. But I'll say a win. They're 6-0.
Wow.
Oh, dude.
Wow.
Oh boy. Gonna get hurt.
I'm with Phil here. I think it's, you know what? When it comes to the Lions, probably, and the Packers for sure, I always, at this time of year, have them splitting because it's hard to predict a sweep.
But you've got them losing home games to start 0-2 in the division here. So I'm curious where you wind up taking
it's
us.
tough. It's tough. This schedule, I told you guys, this home schedule is tough. It is a rough one, which leads us to another home game. Week 7, October 19th, just a normal noon kickoff against Michael Penix Jr. and the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, that's for sure. That is for sure a Kenny Albert game, right? Just fly on in here for some NFL on Fox. Yeah, that's a win. It's a win for sure.
Win. They're 7-0. They're never losing the game.
Back.
Win. Wow, Declan. Okay.
7-0.
Now, October 26th is a Sunday. And I will say that this comes from, well, I threw it out as a possibility. Phil then, this was last week, doubled down and said he's been hearing things through the grapevine. And our guy, Shooter, Charlie Walters in the Pioneer Press on Sunday, in his notes column, wrote the same thing.
Oh, really?
October 26th, a road game against the Steelers in Dublin, Ireland. I don't have a start time because I don't know what the hell. I mean, I don't know what. Would you start that at like 8:20 in the morning? Would you start it at noon and night? I don't know. But anyway,
it'd be 8. Yeah, they're always at 8. It'd be 8:30 in the morning, right?
8 a.m. Yeah, 8
well, but it's a first game in Dublin, so would they give them a prime? Like they used to give. So when the Vikings played the Steelers in London, didn't that game start at like 3 o'clock or something? But anyway,
did it? No.
I don't care about that. I care about the fact they're playing the Steelers in good old Dublin.
They should put it on Sunday Night Football and make it kick off at like 2 a.m. in Dublin and just make those.
They'd sell out.
Oh my gosh, dude! The Steelers have a defense. We don't. This could be an Aaron Rodgers revenge game here. Revenge against the team that told him no.
Second consecutive year,
too, right? We don't think you can beat out JJ McCarthy.
Played the Jets in last year in London, and now play the Vikings in Dublin.
So weird things happen in these European games. The Steelers are very formidable. They've definitely hit this plateau where they're like 9 or 10 wins and not a Super Bowl threat. I'm going to say this is a loss. This is a loss for the Vikings here.
I think it's a loss too, and not to nitpick the schedule, but didn't they say this would be early? Wouldn't this be like in September?
Oh, I didn't see that.
I
think they usually clear these games out pretty early, but
there's a bunch of them.
It could be obviously still in like
when
early
was the Jets
October.
Game? October, right?
It was early October. It was week 5, right?
Yep.
What's the date on this one in the mock schedule?
October 26th.
Okay.
But there's a bunch of games there, and yes, I would imagine that this is definitely going to be in the first half of the season. It probably would be, if anything, earlier October. But this sets up, for my purposes, perfectly with what I did, so I'm not changing it.
So you guys have what? Did you say win or lose?
First loss.
Okay.
First loss is in Dublin.
I'm going win here. Long travel. You got to be very disciplined. In this case, the MVP is going to be the Vikings' sleep and health department. They put guys on the plane with tons of water and just the right things, and they force them to go to sleep so that when they wake up, this game has become such a game of importance of the development of how you travel. So I'm going win here.
That's crazy. The Steelers forgot to put water on their plane to lunch. I'm
you know what they didn't do?
Change my pick here. Actually,
the Steelers didn't have the proper sleep coach.
But it's a shorter flight from Pittsburgh than it is from.
But that's how
Minneapolis.
our preparation. But our preparation here is so good.
I think the Vikings are going to be more impacted by the hour-and-a-half longer flight in this case.
I have them at 6-2, hydrated, well rested, and getting back on the plane to come home off that win for the Week 9, November 2nd bye.
So we got a bye. Okay. Yeah.
Week 9.
Now you can request. In years past, was it last year? They requested to not have a bye because it was too early.
That was That was O'Connell's first trip to London, correct? And then
the Saints.
Last year they came right back and played.
So this effectively marks the first half of the season right here. Right. So Judd's got them 6-2.
That's right.
I've got them 6-2. Declan has them 7-1. And man, we did the opposing quarterbacks list. There's some doozies still coming up on the schedule, I feel like.
Oh yeah, the second half is going to be very difficult.
Yeah.
At least in my world.
Oh, for you're teasing the wins and losses. Okay, well before we get there, 2 men in a truck here. For any Vikings free agent that's wondering, now that I just signed a massive contract with the Vikings, I didn't think about moving my family. Well, who should they contact, Declan?
They should contact Two Men in a Truck. In fact, I have a call this afternoon with Two Men in a Truck to coordinate and figure out my big move that I got going on here in a couple weeks. So they're going to help Dex Tweets out to get all this stuff taken care of.
You might need 4 men and 2 trucks. Yeah.
Exactly. I got Vinny's his stuff, got my junk. There's a lot of different things in this house. You don't want to have to deal with that. No hidden fees or service charges. What they quote is what you pay. So go to twomeninatruck.com to find a location near you. That's twomeninatruck.com.
Hey, Federated is here for all you business owners out there that are looking for just better frontline protection, better peace of mind, so you can focus on the things that help grow your business on the top side. And Federated comes in here like they have for over 100 years, based in Owatonna, Minnesota, but with tentacles in all 50 states. They help businesses with safety, preventing claims, and risk management, like a great offensive line for your business. And you can find a full list of industries that they specialize in working with at federatedinsurance.com. You can find out about their face-to-face, eye-to-eye relationship priority company and approach. And remember, at Federated, it's our business to protect yours. Also, at Dennis Kirk, it is riding season. It's going to be, once again, it's a little chilly here today, but the sun is shining. Put an extra layer on if you're dusting off the bike for riding season. Dennis Kirk is your go-to place with over 185,000 parts, apparel, and accessories for motorcycles, ATVs, UTVs, dirt bikes, snowmobiles, if you're planning ahead for next winter already. You name it. DennisKirk.com has all the top brands. They also offer same-day shipping on orders placed before 6 p.m. Central Time and free shipping on orders over $89. So if you're getting the itch for riding season, go to DennisKirk.com and check out their stock. All right, we're into week 10 of Judd's mock schedule here.
All right, 8 down, 9 to go. November 9th at the Chargers. 3:05. Standard late game kickoff. So week 10 at the Los Angeles Chargers. A potentially tough game here. Jimmy Harbaugh, Herbert. That's not a bad team. So you get... Now, the one good thing is it's going to be basically a home game because the Vikings fans, as we've talked about a lot before, travel incredibly well. The Chargers are about as nondescript team from just a fan base standpoint now as you could possibly get. So plenty of purple in the stadium. SoFi, Chargers, Vikings.
I don't think they're winning 14 games again. There's so many reasons why it's hard to, even if you're the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, like the grind to continue winning at that level. This is a sneaky, really good team in the AFC. Another year with the Harbaugh culture, the run game that they're building. They added Najee Harris. They added some pieces. They added Mekhi Becton at guard, right? So they've got...
That's your guy.
They've got some pieces, and Justin Herbert, regular season version, is still one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So I actually think this is a loss for the Vikings, even though they're coming out of a bye.
I have it as a win. I feel like what we just said, what Phil just said about the Chargers, is what has been said about the Chargers for the last 4 off seasons. Of sneaky good team here, but Chargers always find a way to charge in the wrong direction. They just don't ever live up to their full expectations. Maybe this is the year. Who knows? I still think this is a win. I think it's a home game basically for the Vikings. I have to believe it to see it. Maybe as if this were to play out and the Chargers were a better team going into this game, if they actually live up to their expectations, probably going to be a little tougher. But environment-wise, I think this is pretty easy, so it's a win for the Vikings.
If there's going to be a game in which I think that that the very mature, highly intelligent JJ McCarthy
this is the point.
Gets to himself as far as trying to prove something. Jimmy Harbaugh on the sideline, a lot of things going through his head. This is a loss.
Yep.
This is a loss, unfortunately.
Yeah, the one guy that knows J.J. McCarthy better than anyone, including Kevin O'Connell, is Jim Harbaugh. So if we're going to look at the week 2 game against Seattle and we're all going to say, well, the Vikings are going to know what buttons to push against Sam Darnold, Jim Harbaugh will know what buttons to push against J.J. McCarthy more than anybody in football in this game. This will be a tough one. Chargers defense is no joke, too, by the way.
No.
So just scoring in general on that defense is difficult.
All right, back home, week 11, November 16th. Late afternoon start, 3:25. So a CBS or Fox national type game of the Vikings playing host to the Commanders. Jaden Daniels against JJ McCarthy coming up next on Fox.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So Tom Brady coming back. Kevin Burkhardt. I think a little bit of a sophomore step back for Jaden Daniels here. So I'm going to say, and with the Vikings on my iteration of this, not having won a game in like a month with the loss before the bye, after the bye, settling in at home, everyone re-engages, refocuses. They win this game against the Commanders.
Win as well for me. They're 9-1. They're riding high. This is an invincible football team. Judd, how many noon games do you have thus far? This feels like only like 1 or 2 noon games.
Yeah.
Falcons is a noon.
4 so far.
Giants is a noon. Browns is a noon, right?
Yep. And the Steelers is in a
Right.
Well, it's noon. Well, no, it wouldn't be noon.
Something. So
No, it would not be noon there. It would be prime time or late afternoon. Mm-hmm. We should quiz Judd on his European time.
I don't know
zones.
my Dublin time zones.
Isn't it pretty much the same? Like it's pretty close, right? What time is it in Dublin right
That's
now?
a good question.
So we're recording this at like 9:30 a.m. here Central Time.
7 hours ahead.
Yeah, it's like, isn't it like 3 or 4 o'clock?
Okay.
What time is it in Dublin right now? Yeah, it's going to be 4 o'clock p.m. here.
Okay, so that's not bad.
So it's not too bad.
Not too bad a difference.
See, look what you learn on Purple Daily.
It's just
not just
fantastic.
football. It's life.
So educational.
Yeah.
All right, so I've got him at 7-3. Phil, what's yours?
Yes, same deal. We're at 7. Both of us at 7-3 here.
And Dex, you're at 9-1.
Yep.
Phenomenal year. All right, week 12, November the 23rd. It's chilly, it's cold, it's windy, and the stadium grass sucks, but it's Soldier Field.
Oh, here we go.
Noon kickoff.
Oh, yes. It's the Vikings and the Bears on Fox. Jonathan Vilma, who hasn't watched a lick of film all week.
And it's your club. It's your club, the Bears.
It's Kenny Albert and Jonathan Vilma, who's going to say 15 dumb things over the next 3 hours and piss off Vikings fans.
Kenny, this
on
is just
Fox.
Kenny, this is just a football game. It's just a football game, Kenny.
This is a win. This is a win for the Vikings over the way too early to be crowned Chicago Bears.
Ooh, weather environment here. I think this is a stumble. I think they stumble here. Things get weird at Soldier Field, so this is a loss. This is a loss.
This is a tough one because the Vikings now win there a lot. They used to lose there a lot. That was the thing. Well, they don't win against the Bears in Chicago. Well, they actually, I think, with O'Connell as their coach, have done very well there. I'm going to say this is a win. I'm going to take them to 8-3.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm going to give them a win here. I just don't know what to make of the Bears. Like, I think that they could be improved. I'm probably higher on the Bears than Phil is, but I also think that there's this weird, like, oh, they're going to be good now because of Ben Johnson. Well, like, he's in his first year, so.
Yeah, I think like the fact that Caleb Williams took more sacks, if you combine the sacks, the fumbles, and the interceptions, than any quarterback by a mile. He averaged was it 5 combined or 6 combined sacks, fumbles, and interceptions per game last year.
And I respect our guy Thor a lot. And Thor's point that he continues to hammer home is Ben Johnson's style does not fit Caleb's style.
Yeah. Yeah,
I trust
a guy that made his living in college off of kind of sandlot, keep a play alive type of style, and Ben Johnson. Now maybe Ben Johnson can meet him halfway, which is going to be the challenge. But whatever, wherever they meet, it's not going to be enough to beat the Vikings in Week 12.
They're going to meet at Soldier Field
schedule
in Week 12. Kenny Albert, Jonathan Vilma. Let's go down to who's their sideline person.
Is it Pam Oliver?
Is it Pam? Who's Christina?
Or
Pink
is it Christina Pink?
Yeah.
I'm also just throwing out names of sideline reporters
on
Fox. Let's go down to Shannon Spake. Or is it Pam Oliver? We're not sure.
Who's down there? Who's down there?
On the sidelines.
I got to get to a hockey game. See you later. All right, week 13, boys. I am throwing a curveball here. It's been too long. The Vikings are an attractive team. I'm going to throw you a little bit of a November 27th curveball. That's right, Turkey Day at Dallas, 3:30.
Okay, so this is the Thanksgiving. Okay.
So I'm going to give you a at Dallas Thanksgiving Day game. I do not have the Vikings on Christmas Day, but I put them on Thanksgiving Day as the second of 3 games.
Ooh, the Cowboys are a disaster. They are one of the worst run franchises in football. They have an eroding roster. It would be shocking to me if a well-coached, great rostered Vikings team lost this. So give me a W. Eating those W's on Thanksgiving.
Oh, I love Thanksgiving football. And Cowboys are typically the first. Are they typically the first game? Does it rotate?
No, they're always the second.
They're always the second. Okay,
Detroit's always the first.
So that's kind of good. So give me a win. I'll take a win here. Yeah, I think Dallas is a disaster too. Short week, big game. You're traveling. You're in Chicago. You gotta come home for just like a day or two. Then you're back in Dallas. So some logistics get a little wonky here, but it's a win. I think it's a win.
This is a tough one because it's a short week. Dallas is a disaster, but they should have some pride. It's their Thanksgiving Day game. It's their big game, but the Vikings do win this game. And Justin Jefferson replicates the 98 Moss game.
Yeah. 3 catches, 3 touchdowns, 562 yards on 3 catches. Not even mathematically possible. But he's going to make it happen.
And gets the turduncan. Him, JJ McCarthy, just eating the turduncan.
Also, wouldn't this would be the third, because that's also Tom Brady, Kevin Burkhardt, right? They do that prime. That's a Fox game.
No, it switches now,
they
right?
switch it. They switch
it
back
switches
and
around
forth.
now.
Okay.
It switches around. I can't give you assignments now because it's become way more changeable between the two. Like it used to be Fox. Fox would have the early Detroit game. CBS would have blah, blah, blah. But then they switched it around. So unfortunately, Mock 1.0 is out of the network business unless it's a primetime game.
That's fair. Okay.
Fox, CBS, I'm out. Sorry. All right. We get to December. Week 14, December the 4th. That's right. It's a back-to-back Thursday special. Thanksgiving. This is what the league is doing more of now, too. So they're doing this a little bit more. They're creating Thursday.
I kind of like this.
Versus the Eagles. Thursday Night Football, Amazon Prime, Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit, Kirk's new dog are at U.S. Bank Stadium for a 7:15
Wait, is
PM
Al?
kickoff.
I have a dumb question. Is Al still doing?
Yep, he announced he's coming back.
He's back again.
Yep,
huh?
I was trying to politic for him not to come back, and he's coming back. So yes,
he's
Al's
coming
back.
80 years old for Al Michaels, man.
Yep.
Yeah, this is tough. Now, I need to know. We're flying blind on this prediction because we don't know if the tush push is legal or not.
Dude, you got it.
So
It's 1.0.
Here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say that, well, also the Eagles, unless they're playing the Thanksgiving Thursday night game, Eagles short rest on this game, Vikings full week of rest. I'm going to guess that the NFL finds a way for quote unquote safety purposes to get rid of the tush push. So the Eagles are going to be on short rest without their secret weapon late in the season here. Give me a win for the Vikings.
I would make an argument that the Eagles, though, could get the Thursday night, Thanksgiving night game.
So you'd basically just re-rack a bunch of Thursday.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. But I did not do that one, so I'm not positive. I'm just saying hypothetically.
Yeah, could you go check your Eagles mock schedule and just see what were they doing in week 13?
Hey, Stella, pull me the Eagles schedule for 25.
Hold on a second. What if I go to Google here? Eagles mock schedule. Let's just see if any results come up, and then we will use the first result as gospel here to make our
I was
prediction.
throwing something out too. You're probably right.
Hold on a second. Eagles. It doesn't look like anyone else is insane enough on the internet to do what we're doing here today, which is to mock the schedule a month before it comes out.
I am shocked it's not done more.
Yeah, we know the opponents.
I mean, if you're going to do a mock draft, which everyone and their brother does, why wouldn't you mock schedules?
Yeah. So, all right, you guys, what do you think? Eagles, Vikings?
Loss.
9-4.
Cowards. You guys are cowards.
Coward is right.
What are they going to do without that? If you're the Vikings, you're going to bait them into 3rd and 1 situations, and they're going to walk up to the line and be like, wow, what do we do? I don't know. There's no way to gain this yard anymore. I'm not sure.
Yard.
The NFL has made it impossible for us to gain this yard.
Speaking of cowards, get a yard, you cowards. Just get a yard. All right. December 14th, back to a Sunday, week 15, at the Packers. 3:25 again. Fox or CBS, national game of the week for them. But you're at the Packers on the 14th.
I have a weird feeling that the Packers are going to sweep the Vikings. A little revenge season for the Packers.
Wow.
I think the
Really?
Packers are like a take another step this year team.
Interesting.
So I know that our audience and the YouTube comments are going to crucify me for
Yeah,
this.
they hate you right now.
But we'll do this like 4 other times so I can change my mind. I'm gonna say loss here for the Vikings.
Loss for me as well. I think they split with Green Bay. So, loss for me. Back-to-back losses. In my schedule.
I think they split as well, so it's a win. I think the Vikings go in and play a little bit of smash mouth. You know what this game is? This is the Jordan Mason game. You got that run game going. You got Frizy. You got Kelly. You've got that offensive line. This is the game where you go in snot and snarl. Fingers are bent. Hands are mangled. And you go in there. And yes, you get, McCarthy completes passes. I get that. But this is a game where the Vikings run game rears up and shows you why they made these moves. So I'm going to give them a win here.
I actually think what could happen is this would be kind of a fun little story. An ode to the 2004 season where you lose 2 games in the regular season and then you beat them at Lambeau Field in the playoffs, knock them out of the playoffs, and then you do the fake mooning thing and bring it all full circle. You got fun.
Justin Jefferson moons the crowd. That is a disgusting act. All right, that was week 14. Or I'm sorry, week 15. Week 16, December 22nd. Again, the quarterback's coming to US Bank Stadium. Gauntlet continues. You get the Bengals and a noon start and Joe Burrow.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, this will be shootout vibes here, but the Bengals defense is a disaster, and the Bengals offensive line has a bunch of questions too. So I'm going to say Vikings get after Joe Burrow here. Burrow gets a few numbers here and there, but I'm going to say Vikings win this game.
I do as well. Vikings in my schedule have lost 3 of their last 4 games. So after a 9-1 start, they've stumbled a little bit here. I'm very excited for Joe Burrow to be in US Bank Stadium. That's going to be fun to see. But I think the Vikings should be able to win this one. So win for me.
The defense, I agree with Phil on. The defense is a disaster. The Vikings defense has a better chance just based on its quality against Burrow. The Bengals are weird too. I don't necessarily get them. I do think that this could be a shootout, but in the end, the Vikings win. So I've got them now at 11 wins with 2 games left.
All right, I have them with 4 losses. I'm struggling with the
That's
math here, but somewhere in there. Yeah.
Yeah, we're the same.
We'll get there.
11 and 4 for us, and then Dex has them with. Do you have them with 4 losses now? Okay.
Yeah, 11-4.
Okay, we're all in lockstep across the board then. All right, 2 games left. Week 17, December 28th. Another game under the lights. 7:20 Sunday Night Football against the Chicago Bears. Coming up next, Chris Collinsworth in a moment.
And this is you said this is this is at US Bank Stadium,
This
right?
is at US Bank Stadium. Yeah, the Bears game in Chicago was in November.
And this is Sunday Night Football.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm just making notes. Easy win for the Vikings here.
Yeah, they split. I think they might stumble in Chicago, but they'll win. They'll win this one at home.
Okay. So I'm gonna have them at a win as well. So I'm now at 12 and 4. We're all 12 and 4. And then we're going to repeat last year's finale, Week 18, January 4th, TBA. In fact, TBA on the date, because it could be a Saturday game, it could be a Sunday game, we don't know, but they will be at Detroit again. to end the season.
Oh, man. Oh, man. All right, I got them splitting with the Lions here. So it's going to be another loss in Week 18, just like it was last year to the Lions. So that'll be 12-5 for me with a 500 record in the division. I got them 3-3 in the division, 12-5 overall.
Yeah, lockstep. 12-5 for me. They lose this game. I think splitting in the division is more likely. We'll have a hot take here from myself in a second about the home schedule and their opponents, but 12-5 is where I'm at here in 1.0.
So I've got them splitting with the Packers. I got them sweeping the Bears, and I have them being swept by Detroit. So, yes, 12-5, which, by the way, is a very good year.
It is.
A very nice season. There's nothing to complain.
With a first-year starting quarterback, and it's funny because we didn't even, only that Chargers game, we talked extensively about the impact of JJ McCarthy. So we could go through this entire thing again, like the Eagles' defensive front against a first-year starting quarterback. Now, by the time they play that game in your mock schedule, it'll be December. He will have seen 12 previous games or whatever.
Yes.
But there are some defenses in here that will make it very hard for an inexperienced quarterback to operate. So once we get the actual schedule, we can have more in-depth discussions about some of that stuff. But
what? The actual schedule? I gave you a great mock schedule. We can break it down.
It is a great mock schedule.
The home schedule, though, is, that's the thing that stands out to me. The home schedule is a killer.
Yeah. So we all have them 12-5, right? If they go 12-5 first year with JJ McCarthy, I guess like Judd has them getting swept by the Lions. I have them getting swept by the Packers. I think it'd be probably tough to win your division if you're getting swept by one of those two teams, unless somehow one of those teams only wins 10 games but still sweeps you. There's different ways the math could work out. But if someone said to you guys, okay, 12-5, or you can take what's behind door number 2, you don't know what's behind door number 2, I would just take the 12-5 and run to the cashiers
in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
agreed completely. Mm-hmm. I also think that, as we discussed the division in April, the only team that I would be really shocked if they won would be Chicago. Like, if you told me Green Bay reared up and won the North, I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah.
Detroit, not shocked. And the Vikings, not shocked. So, that's the thing is I think you've got 3 teams that I could see being playoff teams, and any one of those teams potentially could win the division, and I don't think that fans should be surprised by that.
Yeah. So there it is, Judd's mock schedule.
I want a mock.
An annual tradition on Purple Daily. I feel like ordinarily we do it like a little closer to. It's nice to create some space though, because otherwise we do it and then a week later the actual schedule comes out and then we go through the same exercise.
Yep.
So you guys can give us after free agency too in the YouTube comment sections. Give us your thoughts on 12 wins. Is that too optimistic with a first year starting quarterback?
That.
Is it too negative?
No, I think we're going to get. Well, I think that you're going to get heat for your Packer prediction for sure. My Lions one might. I don't know. The Packers, I think, will for sure. But I think overall, the tone of the comments is you guys are just drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, and I want to make it clear. I'm not officially predicting they're going to get swept by the Packers. I'm just riding the flow of Judd's mock schedule here, okay? If you reshuffled these games and
I thought this wasn't a homer show.
Yeah.
I thought you guys weren't homers. I might as well go elsewhere for my Vikings content.
Okay, Declan is formulating a take here, but this summer the World Juniors are coming to town.
Actually.
Or this next winter.
Yes, exactly right. We all know that Sports Dad loves hockey, right? There is no hockey tournament that I love more than the World Junior Championships, and they are coming here starting on December 26th at XL Energy Center. This is, I'm telling you right now, the best annual tournament in hockey. It is a who's who of future pros, of high draft picks, of guys who are going to be high picks. I carve out time every winter to watch this on TV, and now I can actually go. It runs December 26th of 2025 to January 5th of 2026. You can lock in your tickets now. Group play packages are on sale now. Go to worldjuniorsmn26.com. That's worldjuniorsmn26.com. These are 16-game packages for Group A or Group B, prelim games, as well as quarterfinals, semifinals, bronze, and gold medal games as well. World Junior Championships have not been here since 1982. They likely won't come back for a long time. So if you are a hockey fan, make sure that you get your tickets now at worldjuniorsmn26.com.
Love it. All right, Dex, is this a hot take presented by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning?
Yes. Standard Heating can help you out with all those HVAC and AC needs. I've told you the story of they were able to come to my house that I'm moving into here next month. The furnace, I wasn't sure on the status of it. Luckily, they were able to give me the peace of mind of where that furnace stood at. Go to standardheating.com to learn more. Plus, you can join their Smart Club. This will give you priority scheduling, discount on repairs if something goes wrong at the worst possible time. Standard Heating can help you out with that. And as the ground thaws, I think we got 60s coming up finally this weekend here in the Twin Cities. So finally some warmer weather. You want to make sure that AC is working this summer. So go to standardheating.com and shout out to Standard Heating for being our presenting sponsor of the Purple Daily Draft Party. All right, fellas, here is my hottest take. We did our schedule release. We just briefly right then touched on the opponents for the Vikings at the home schedule, which can be difficult. So here is my hottest take. JJ McCarthy is going to be the better quarterback at US Bank Stadium in all home games this season. That's my hot take.
Like better than Jaden Day. You're saying he's gonna outperform Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, Jordan Love, Jared Goff, and Lamar Jackson.
That is correct. I'm saying JJ McCarthy in his first year with a doozy of a home schedule is going to outperform. And we got some primetime games. This isn't just like being buried in noon, like, oh, what happened in there? I see a box score stats. There's going to be some national TV games here. My hottest take is JJ McCarthy is going to go toe-to-toe, and then at the end, he's going to outperform these opponents, even though some of these are the best quarterbacks in the NFL that are coming to US Bank Stadium. That is my piping hot take. JJ McCarthy is going to be the better quarterback at US Bank Stadium this season.
Can I ask, before Judd's shaking his head, but can I ask, first of all, if we're grading whether this is a hot take, yes, I think this would classify as a hot take. Does this optimism stem more from your being high on the Vikings defense, or your being high on JJ McCarthy stepping in like Patrick Mahomes did year one and just being an MVP candidate right away?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think the free agent additions they've been able to add are going to be really big here. They've put some guys in the trenches that'll make them better. I love what the defense is doing. They've gotten Jordan Mason to give a two-headed monster. They have great weapons for McCarthy. Yeah, I think when you look at it, there's a world where JJ McCarthy outperforms some of the best quarterbacks in the NFL at US Bank Stadium.
Well, yeah, some of them maybe, but you said all of them. You said he would outperform Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Jalen. If he did these things, he would be 2018 Patrick Mahomes, 50 touchdown passes, the MVP of the NFL, and conference championship game at minimum, potential Super Bowl at the top.
I think even our guy Thorsky wouldn't say this. Like every one of these quarterbacks, and we've talked about it, it's a great list. Certainly I could see times, absolutely. But every one of them, I can't ask this kid to do that. I don't think he's capable yet. Like we don't know. So will there be games where he probably surprises us, and because the Vikings defense is going to be really good, that he is the better of the two quarterbacks and he's playing a really good QB? Yes. Could I see it for all 8 home games? No way.
Okay, in defense of Declan for just a moment here, actually. Do we all agree the Vikings defense on paper, if healthy, should be better than last year's defense?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Given health, like they got better.
Right.
They were one of the worst interior defensive pressure teams. Now. Yep. So they should be able to get pressure without blitzing as much, and they've got Dallas Turner maybe take another step. Well, last year's defense held the entire slate of opposing quarterbacks all throughout. So this includes the bad quarterbacks they faced, like the rookie Caleb Williams, etc. But last year's defense held opposing quarterbacks to an 82.4 passer rating, which was the second best mark of any passing defense. Only the Lions held opposing quarterbacks to a worse passer rating. To put that into context, 30 different, wait, hold on a second. 31 different NFL quarterbacks, starting quarterbacks, had a passer rating better than 80.5. Like the closest comps are Will Levis and Gardner Minshew and Mac Jones, actually. Mac Jones is kind of exactly on this number. So the Vikings defense turned the entire slate of opposing quarterbacks into Mac Jones / Will Levis over the course of 4 months last year. So if that's the bar, now like Joe Burrow should outperform that, I would think, and Lamar Jackson. But if the defense sets a low bar because they're such a great defense, McCarthy would not have to have a 110 passer rating in these games to hit that. So I'm the more I dig into this, I'm actually maybe scooching over to. I don't think he's going to outperform all these guys in every game. I do think that's wild. That's a hot take. But to say that the combination of the Vikings defense, the combination of the home crowd, and the combination of JJ McCarthy maybe being really good, it's not as outlandish as you would think.
Well, no, I mean, he will do it. I think because of the defense, there will certainly be some games where very good quarterbacks don't have great days. But that being said, if you just look at the schedule of QBs, including with Detroit and Green Bay in your own division, this is one of the toughest quarterback schedules that the Vikings, home schedules that the Vikings have had in their history.
Boy, that's another exercise. Maybe the sports dad can go through every home schedule in Vikings history and rank how hard the
1972
incoming quarterback
Billy
slate
Kilmer,
was.
not having a great year. But like
John Elway, 1995, coming in with the
Broncos.
Broncos.
Phil Simms and the Giants coming to the Metrodome. But yeah, I think that I think all of our expectations for this kid are pretty high. I do think though that there's going to be probably days where it's tougher, and there are a few quarterbacks coming in. If you break this down, which is the existing factors just in that stadium that make it difficult, there are a few quarterbacks who are going to play here who are not going to be nearly as bothered as most. Burrow comes to mind. Like that's the one thing. Go back to the Chargers game here a couple of years ago, and this is where I sort of. This is why I'm a bit of a Herbert stan, because if you remember that game, that guy came here and dissected, and it's like the crowd was loud, and then he shut them up. Mm-hmm. That was impressive. Joe Burrow can do that.
Last year, the Vikings lost to two teams, right? They lost to the Lions and they lost to the Rams, and so they combined, like the whole season, they lost to two teams, the Lions and the Rams. And those two quarterbacks, the classic pocket passing, veteran, dissect the defense quarterbacks, high accuracy, intermediate, Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff, were the ones that delivered the kryptonite to that Vikings defense, in part because the Vikings had the highest blitz rate of any defense in the league.
Right.
So as they are sending 5, 6 guys, the calm, cool, collected Matthew Stafford and Jared Goffs of the world, zoop, 12 right over the top, right, crossing routes. So this time around, you're still going to face Jared Goff, and Stafford's off your schedule. And like Joe Burrow kind of takes the place of maybe a Matthew Stafford. You still have to deal with those guys. But by adding Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave, and maybe Dallas Turner taking a step, you are not obligated to blitz nearly as often as you did last year to get pressure. That's going to become very important against the Lamar Jacksons, the pocket passers for sure too, but the Lamar Jacksons and the Jaden Daniels, where if you blitz those dudes and you don't get home, boom, gone. Either a pass down the field or a 20-yard run through the open space. So being able to keep guys back in a bit of a shell, like that's going to be a fun chess match against two of the great rushing quarterbacks of all time on the schedule, both coming to U.S. Bank Stadium.
One thing I think that's going to be incredibly important too in that vein is this one. Blake Cashman and Ivan Pace probably can't miss time, because they both bring their own thing, right? And they're both very good at that one thing. But like if Cashman, who does get hurt, is out again, now the passing game against the interior LBs becomes easier, right? Because that's what Cashman takes away. So that would be the one antidote to beating the Vikings with a 4-man rush or not blitzing now would be if Cashman's out exploiting that. Because I think if Cashman's playing, you're in pretty good shape.
Yeah. So, all right. Nice job. Nice job, Judd, with your
you just broke it down.
mock schedule.
Thank you. We'll keep track of how well I do.
Yeah. All right, boys. And a reminder, get your draft tickets. Purple Daily 2025 Draft Party presented by Standard Heating and Air at scorenorth.com/draft. And we'll see you guys tomorrow here on Purple Daily, where we just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl, even if it's a mock schedule before we die.